Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live podcast on holistic wellness for conscious business success. I'm here today with Lori Voss, a holistic wellness expert. And if you give me just a second, I'm going to make sure that this video is live inside of our private Facebook group. Amazing. And I'm also going to give it just a minute in case anybody is hopping on live with us here. I want to make sure that I can see the comments and the questions. So when you join and when you hop on, go ahead and just give me a hashtag live. You can let us know where you're joining from. And I've got Lori here. I'm going to give her an introduction because what she does is really special and really amazing. So Lori is the holistic health and wellness mentor with over 20 years of international experience. Having lived, studied, and worked in North America, Asia, Europe, Lori's approach is globally inspired. That's something I really love about Lori, and rooted in empowering others to lead consciously elevated lifestyles. She brings a wealth of expertise to this group and also to our upcoming inspiration retreat, including traditional Chinese medicine, which I was able to learn more about this year with Lori, empowerment coaching, Hatha Yoga, Reiki, and mindfulness. Lori's holistic approach harmonizes the natural rhythms of nature, the energetics of food, and the connection between our bodies and the universe. It's really very powerful stuff. We're thrilled to have her guide us on a transformative journey toward holistic well-being and mindful living as a foundation for conscious business. So I welcome Lori. We're so happy to have you here today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Hillary, and thank you for the beautiful welcome. Yes, thank you so much.
Yes. I think it's so fun. And as you know, one of my intentions inside of this group is to just share like more podcast, more interviews. I just find it so interesting when we can really share what we do and share what we know with each other, with the community as we build together. So I have a couple of different questions for Lori today. And the first one that I have is, how do you believe holistic wellness practices influence, like talk a little bit about how they influence business success, particularly for entrepreneurs, coaches, visionaries, creatives, the kind of women that are inside of this community?
Yeah, so really taking that holistic approach to your health and wellness, because we are looking at holistically, it's looking at it overall for your overall well-being. And that really, we really focus on mind, body, and soul, all of it. And because that's our whole entire being, right? So of course, when we are in alignment, when we're taking that holistic approach, of course, it's going to positively affect the success in our personal life and, of course, in our business as well. We are working on all aspects of our entire being, right? So it therefore allows the creativity to flow. With the information that I work with, as you learned some of the information from traditional Chinese medicine, specifically, I'm focusing on life force nutrition. And that life force, when we tap into that, that's also, we can look at like the prana or our breath, that energy that naturally is in our body. It's also in food. Although some food is absent of life force, and that's the foods we want to avoid. However, back to coming to answer the question, when we tap into these holistic wellness practices as creatives, entrepreneurs, healers, coaches, mentors, all of these different aspects, we open the energy channels for creativity to flow. We are cleaning our body naturally, and we allow for that beautiful, clean energy to flow through us. Ideas come with ease.
Yeah.
There's more clarity.
Yes.
It's just, it opens the space because we are removing the junk.
So I
right?
love what you're saying about that. It's like, that ties in really well to the intention that I have behind a lot of my coaching, which is to become that clear channel. And so it's really about how food and these other practices can really help you to become that clear channel and to have that kind of success. And also not just in life, but as you so beautifully stated, it's like our business thrives as a byproduct of what we're doing in our life. And that's something that I truly believe for, heart-led women, for conscious leaders. They're really living out their dharma. They're really living out their purpose and their mission, oftentimes in their business. So that really, really resonates. If you are watching live, let us know where you're joining from. And Lori, I forgot to mention that in the introduction. Where are you coming to us from?
Actually, it's already Wednesday evening for me here. I'm coming to you from Lindau, Germany. So we're in the south of Germany. Yes.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
Beautiful
And,
space here.
and so like I noticed that like many people struggle with maintaining their energy levels. I notice, especially with multi-passionates, with my clients who are super creative or who are wanting to, really tap back into that aspect of themselves and become that clear channel, but they struggle with maintaining energy levels while maintaining or managing, their online business. Some of them also have in-person practices where they're really supporting a lot of other people. And so I'd love to hear from you if you have any like top tips on how to keep our energy levels up, how to keep them consistent. Because I personally noticed a big challenge when I went back into the online space. I found I was sitting a lot more, so I spend more time at my computer now than I ever did. Well, not than I ever did, but I'm, striking a balance with that. So do you have any advice around that or any tips that you can share with us?
Yes, I sure do. So actually, my top three tips for maintaining our energy level to tap into that holistic wellness principles. Number one is getting a good night's sleep. And it seems like it's so easy or simple to say that, right? But like,
Mhm.
how do we manage it if we're not already in that space?
Right.
So ideally, we want the routine. So we want to set the bedtime, and
Mhm.
ideally 10, 11 p.m. is really ideal for our body, for the natural
Mhm.
circadian rhythm, because
Okay.
we're tapping into that life force in our
Mhm.
body, right? So everything is
Yeah.
really feeling into that. So setting the routine for your bedtime, and also setting a time. So if you know you want to be laying in bed, for example, by 10 p.m., turning your
Right.
phone off at least 1 hour before you go to bed, or screen time, right? And
Yeah.
that, like you say, having more time in front of your computer or screen time now that you're doing a lot of your work online. It's
Right.
so common for entrepreneurs, online businesses, coaches to be in that space of continuously being online. But we
Yeah.
need to have that discipline to turn
Really,
off
really
that
wise.
screen. Yeah. So
Yeah. So
that's going to help
creating
us.
those
Yeah.
boundaries, right? Setting up those boundaries so that we can get the right amount of sleep and also following. And I love how you said following the natural rhythms because
Yes.
it's really all about, being in tune with nature and nature cycles and like how we can bring that into our business rather than, the culture that's been really impressed upon us, which is a lot of women come from the hustle culture when they join this group and they're really tired of it and they're, sick of feeling burned out. They're sick of feeling exhausted and they're wanting to do business in a more aligned way. So I love
Mm-hmm.
that you mentioned how we can, really follow the natural rhythms and start bringing our business into balance with nature.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted
Yes,
to just reflect
absolutely.
that back to you. And then
Yes.
did you have a couple more tips for us?
I do actually. And with the getting the good night's sleep, I also just wanted to recommend, like, if you have a habit of leaving your phone on all night, turn it off, or at least on airplane mode.
Yeah.
If you can turn your Wi-Fi off at night as well, just turn it off
Hmm.
before you go to bed. It's a really good
Okay.
habit, and it helps a more restful space for providing that good night's sleep, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's the sleeping part. The next one is the whole foods. So really doing your best to eat as much whole foods as possible.
Mhm.
Moving away from processed foods, because those are going to spike glycemic index. They're going to, cause these spikes. It can also cause negative health problems as well. So really moving towards the whole foods that's going to be able to sustain our energy better, giving
Yeah.
us more vitality, life force internally. And the third one I have is movement. And that's like what you tap into again, because you're saying
Yeah.
like sitting in front of your
Right.
computer
Yeah.
long periods of time, getting up and actually moving. So you can set your alarm every hour, every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes, whatever feels right for you. But it just can be like 1 minute of just jumping up and down, get your blood flowing, right? Something like that. Or it can be just some stretches, maybe turn on one of your favorite songs, do a little bit of dancing, move like that. It
Yeah.
just gets energy back and flowing, and it also helps to open the creative channels when we're feeling just that, that kind of like lower space. So yeah, those are
Yeah.
3 tips from
This
me.
this really resonates, and I'll just share one thing that I've personally been doing is taking my calls, like when I know I need to do some different business related calls, or I need to catch up on like my favorite business podcast, or something like that. I've been taking my phone, going out on a walk, and doing it while walking, for so that I get that 30-minute walk in, or more.
Mhm,
So that
mhm.
has been really helping me to not just be seated so often. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, those are all three really wonderful tips. And you've developed a course that focuses on holistic wellness. It involves meditation, traditional Chinese medicine, and a little bit of Reiki. And so I would first love for you to share the name of this course. I was in it, I took it. It was a really fantastic experience, a 6-week experience that we had this spring, early summer. And I'd love to just for you to share the name and share a key takeaway that has significantly, like, how it impacts your clients' lives. These
sure.
different practices.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
specific course that you're referring to is a nutrition and meditation course.
Hmm.
And it's really like a nice beginner level course. Even if you
Hmm.
have meditation background or
Yeah.
nutrition background, it still is going
Hmm.
to, I'm guarantee you, is going to learn new and different information.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's where it turns us into the biggest takeaway that my clients are really finding is greater overall awareness
Hmm.
for life force enhancement and conservation. So really tapping into that life force energy
Hmm.
and that bringing that greater awareness to like really turn inward and be able to feel and see that in ourselves.
I agree. I think that the course is a unique perspective. It's not something that we're all taught when we think about nutrition or even meditation. And so it really allows you to really adopt a new perspective around the way that you're interacting with the foods, your environment, your habits, and also to see things differently, which is a real gift of
Mhm.
that course. So feel
Yes.
free after this, if I'm not sure if it's still running or if you have it as a digital course now, but if you'd like to drop it in the comments later, you're certainly welcome to share that, because I know people will be interested about it. Um, and then another thing that I'm so excited about, like looking forward to the retreat, which the inspiration retreat, as you all may know, is happening in 2 weeks. It is at capacity. So we're at
Mhm.
capacity now. And we are going to be in Tuscany, in the beautiful Italian countryside, at an ecotourism venue that's quite conscious, but it's also luxurious. And one thing that really set my heart on fire when I noticed this venue was that they have a biodynamic garden and a greenhouse on site. And so the restaurant is like pulling these fresh vegetables and foods, and then Lori is also going to be presenting and sharing with us how we can create our own organic healthy lunches, and by really balanced life force sustaining meals. And that's going to be something that you're going to be going into. So really thinking about like people who are hosting. So my background, I hosted tons and tons of workshops. And what's on my radar now is like when we have these kind of events, when we have a workshop, when we have a retreat, how can we incorporate this um, life force sustaining food into our event, so that it really elevates the results for the attendees, and like you said, opens us up to more clarity and more empowerment. So what are your thoughts on that?
Um, in alignment with what you just shared, it's very
Yeah.
exciting to hear about this farm to table and that
Hmm.
availability that we're going to have at the retreat. I'm super excited
Hmm.
about it.
Yeah,
And
me too.
that's also in terms of having that availability, is really powerful, right? And not all workshops would have necessarily farm to table access, right?
Right.
But when we can tap into still life force food as much as possible at a workshop, at an event, it's giving again that self-empowerment, like, because we all eat every day, let's
Right.
be honest, right? So it's like the more we can tap into the life force food that is providing vitality for us, that's when we're going to enhance ourselves. Like I say, cleaning the channels, clearing out this stagnant energy, cleaning our body. And it's so exciting for me because I love to share about how we can do the life force enhancement through food that we eat. But we also, through still eating foods, we can also provide a detoxification place for our body as well. It doesn't mean that we have to do an actual fast, like a day or two or a week. We
Yeah.
can, it's not
Yeah.
necessary. And finding that balance is so beautiful. And I think the more we can tap into that in general, of course, it's going to enhance our overall success because it's naturally fueling the life force enhancement that that is necessary for us to be alive.
Yes, yes. And okay, so this is what kind of dropped in when you were speaking about this. It's really about having it be a way of being like in your daily life. Now, one thing that dropped in for me is like, okay, we're going to be on retreat, and of course it's in Italy. So that is a place that, the more I think about Italian cuisine, it's really quite rich and there's some really quite delicious things to eat over there. And so I think that also what's been coming through for me is that, yeah, maybe one or two meals I might want to really indulge. I might want to really have something that I don't normally get to eat. But then it's a nice counterbalance actually, that it doesn't have to be like that every meal. And then you actually take it back into your daily life and you apply it, because I won't be eating like I'm on retreat in my in my
Yeah.
day to day. Ideally, I'm going to be eating for sustainable energy and for energy optimization and for holistic wellness and to bring more balance. And not to mention the impact that this all has on the environment and our
Yes.
world. So, for those of you who came to me through my background in sustainable fashion, food, clothing, and then shelter are basically our three main necessities. And so you can really rate yourself and do a little self inquiry on, is there one of these areas that maybe you've not really brought into harmony with the world around? Like, is it the clothing? So like today I'm wearing linen, and I've been very, very big, like a big endorser of linen because it's one of the lowest water crops actually. So it's one of the most sustainable things that we can
Mhm.
wear. And it's also very high vibrational. So when we're talking about everything from the food that we eat to the clothing that we wear to the buildings and the structures that we build, it's really quite fascinating to me. So we might
Mhm.
have to have you come back, and I could have a whole other conversation on this. So we always discover these new
Yes.
topics and
Yes.
ideas. But I want to get to um, my next question, my final question is, you bring such a wealth of knowledge and experience to our retreat. So is there something, you don't have to give it all away because we're going to be sharing, we're going to be taking videos and sharing photos like while we're in Italy. And so if you guys are inside the group and you're following on, in the stories, and I'm sure I'll do a couple of posts while I'm there. Is there some little sneak peek that you can share with us today, so that the women who are not yet on the retreat, who might be thinking about going on a future one, they can get a little preview of what we're going to be experiencing over there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to dive deeper into life force nutrition to really tap into what does that mean? What
Great.
does the food hold, right? And how
Mhm.
can we tap into that? And I'm going to
Yeah.
also tell us about, the real, like, what gets me excited is like I said earlier, if we don't have necessarily farm to table option, which fortunately at the retreat center we do,
Yes.
but if we don't have that in our daily life, the nice trick or tip that I like to provide is sprouts. We don't need to
Oh
have a
yeah.
garden
This is such
necessarily,
a good one. Yeah.
right? And that's
Mhm.
like, I get so excited to share these things because when people are interested, genuinely interested in eating and being well and a holistic approach to living consciously, it's like I know that they're waiting for this, and it's like it's
Yes.
such a powerful piece of information. And
Mhm.
yes, the life force food to support our body on all levels. But like I say, if we find that we're struggling, like I say, even, or like you mentioned on a retreat and eating like this, maybe sometimes we have options for things like sprouts, adding them onto our food, we're going to really pick up the life force. So then we can always kind of enhance as well with little tips and tricks. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I loved that. I loved that reminder to incorporate sprouts. And, it's so easy to sprout your own at home and to grow your own sprouts at home and different things like that. I think I was sharing with you, my family in India actually loves to do that. And that's like a really common practice there. So I love that you draw from these different places in the world and you really come with that unique perspective, having lived in these different places globally, and the global perspective on food can be really taken into consideration. So I did have one more question, and we have a little a few more minutes here. So I wanted to go deeper on meditation because some of the women that are going to be watching this inside of my private membership, which is called Inspired Femme. So all the women that are taking profit from workshops are inside Inspired Femme. And then there are also women who are just inside the membership, inside the collective Inspired Femme, where I give weekly podcasts like this, a weekly soul business podcast, and we do 2 workshops a month. And some of the workshops we've actually started meditating, and women have really discovered they either come in loving meditation or they discover their love for meditation. And so I know many women in this community also practice meditation, have a regular practice. So I would just love to ask you, how do you see the power of meditation influencing not only personal well-being, but also professional success? So can you kind of help us connect the dots with that?
Absolutely. Um, it's it's powerful. It's along the lines of everything that I've been sharing already. It's helping to clear those energy channels. We tend to be stuck up in our head space a lot, our mind, the monkey
Yes.
mind, we're overwhelmed as well. We have so many tasks, all these things to
Right.
do. We're up in this space, right? And that meditation allows us just to bring it down, just calm down, come back, come centering, right? So it brings us back to the ability to come back into the center. And when we can come to our center, we can connect to our heart. And that's where we want to work from. That's where we want to live from. It allows us to come back to that center. So it's like, I just get goosebumps even saying it because it's so
Yeah,
powerful.
definitely. It's really, really powerful. So what I'm just going to like recap it, like the 3 things that just dropped in. It's like, so getting manifesting from the heart space. So we talk about manifestation a lot inside of this group. So shifting from the head to the heart, getting embodied. So getting into the body, into the heart, and then clearing the channel with the different foods that you eat and your different holistic wellness practices so that you can truly create a sustainable business, a life that you love, and a life where you're, really sustained by this vital life force energy, this prana and this chi, so that you can continue to have that ripple effect, that incredible impact out into the world and the people around you. So, Lori, I'm going to end the live video here inside of this group.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much for being here, for joining us today. And if you come on later, because I don't always do them so early in the morning, so I don't know if my people are all awake yet. But if you come on later and you have a comment for Lori, you have a question for Lori, go ahead and drop in the comments, and we'll be watching the chat, and we'll be happy to come back and answer your questions. And we'd love to hear what really resonated with you from this live on conscious leadership and holistic wellness. So thanks so much for joining us
Yes.
today,
Thank
Lori.
you.
Bye.